Do an introduction first. Tell us who you are. Go right ahead, Rose, and do that.
Hi, everyone. This is Rose Colombo, and I am the radio host of the Justice Club every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Freedom Minds Radio from 10:30 to noon Pacific Daylight Time, 1:30 to 3 Eastern Standard Time, and the author of the award-winning book, Fight Back Legal Abuse, a self-help book that helps people around this nation and featured around the nation and on major radio stations as well as recommended.
Right. And we want to talk about a couple of things here. One is, Hillary, as you know, said that, what difference does it make? And then she said that we can make a difference. And what's your intake on all that?
Well, I think it's very sad for our country that we have leaders since the 90s who have outsourced our jobs, reduced our manufacturing companies, and have outsourced the green jobs, outsourced the stimulus money, and have been funding the Muslim Brotherhood and the Hamas, who is linked to the Muslim Brotherhood, according to many credible investigative reporters, the FBI, and the Arab nations as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very serious problem for our country because billions of dollars, vehicles, and weapons have been sent to the Muslim Brotherhood nations linked to Hamas. And there is a law, I think it's H.R. 1388, that the Senate passed secretly back in 2009 that calls the Palestinians refugees. And that law provides for $20.3 million that was sent to the Hamas organization to migrate millions of Palestinians into the USA.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another $100 million sent, I believe in 2012. That was approved by Hillary and Obama. And then another $47 million approved by Obama and Kerry just recently in 2014. The seriousness of that is that prior to these Palestinians being under attack and by Israel and their own leaders, Hamas, who are creating this attack and being killed by their own leaders, the Hamas terrorists, because they use children as suicide bombers, and they use children as human shields.
Right.
And so the problem is they weren't actually refugees at that particular time. So it's interesting to me that we supplied all this money and funding to them, and the Senate passed this H.R. 1388, I believe it is, to migrate millions of Palestinians into the USA, knowing that many of the Palestinians were linked and members of Hamas.
Right.
And so why would we be migrating millions of them into the USA before a war even began?
Well, here's another question for you. Well, Mark Levin got this right. He says if Hamas wants to have a nuclear bomb given to them, give it to them. Just drop it down on them. Wipe them out. Just wipe them out of the face of the earth. Get rid of these people once and for all. Throw them back in the Stone Age. If they want the atomic bomb, if they really want it that bad enough to actually have us use it on them, well, why can't we just provide that and just throw them back in the Stone Age? Why not? Go ahead, Rose.
Well, it's my opinion that if this regime has been funding the Muslim Brotherhood, they're working in our White House, and they're accessing national security, and they're working as directors of DHS, so they're probably also working in our military as they're coaching our military, and the Arab nations, the Saudi king, and Jordan and Syria have all said that Hamas is the Muslim Brotherhood.
Right.
Muslim Brotherhood basically is Hamas.
Mm-hmm.
Then America has a really serious problem here.
Right.
Because we are also funding Iran, who's building the nuke, and Mitt Romney was smart enough to mention it in the campaign, but the MSM just swapped it off and they went on. But that was a really important point that this Iran is building this nuke and we're funding Iran, and Valerie Jarrett is at the head of a lot of the decisions, according to investigative reporting in the news, and is glued to the hip of Obama, and he doesn't do anything without her. And she's not an elected public servant. She's not a lawmaker. Mm-hmm. So Americans need to do more research and maybe perhaps start asking questions of why she's making policies and threatening Americans to be punished if they don't comply. Since she was born in Iran, and investigative reports link her to the Muslim Brotherhood and to other organizations that lean very extreme left. So I think we need to find out who are the people that are making these decisions that are unconstitutional and punishing the American people, working in the IRS, and why they are bringing guillotines into our nation, why they are passing laws in Georgia to behead Americans, and instead of using lethal injection, which is a much more humane way to die. Right. And what is their purpose, and why aren't they publicizing this information? Because we know what Revelation says about beheading the Christians, and Christians are being persecuted around the world, and they're under attack, as well as the Jews, and the Catholics are on the list, and anyone who doesn't comply. My problem is that with Iran building that nuke, and we're helping to fund it and not stopping them, Ahmadinejad stated that Iran, would one day wipe out Western civilization, America. And the other problem we have is their religion believes that death is a good thing. So they have no fear of death, and they have no fear of killing innocent people, obviously, as we are witnessing over in Palestine now, including their own children. Mm-hmm. So in holding people hostage on top of a mountain and starving them to death. And they can't come down the mountain or they'll be slaughtered. And they're burying people alive. They're burying women and babies alive, according to the news that I've been tracking. And they're also cut a baby in half, which I reported on my radio show, reported by a